Good evening. We're going to go ahead and get started. I realize the crowd's very small, but I'm trying something here tonight. We started to do video streaming of our board meeting last month. We had a little technical problem in the middle of the meeting. So we're trying to video stream this live tonight and also record it. So I'm going to use a microphone now because I don't think the small group here can hear me, but I wanted to pick up better on the volume here so we can see how this works. So if you get bored, you can look over here and wave. And the one or two people watching you will be able to see what you're doing. I want to thank you for coming tonight. My name is Andy Hill. I'm the superintendent of schools here. And I want to do a couple other introductions, and I'll kind of get into a quick overview of the evening. We have our three building principals here with us tonight: Tracy Early, the elementary school, Paul Woodard, middle school, and Nick Julia at the high school. They're here if we get into questions particular to building in depth. We'll be able to lend their expertise here. We also, I think, have one of our board members here, our president, Lisa Dunn. What we're going to do tonight, and those of you that attended any of the financial forums, we're going to try to stick to a format similar to that, which is we're going to give a brief overview of the area, curriculum, instruction, assessment, technologies. Those that know this type of area know we can probably talk on this for days. So we're going to try to do, at the most, like a 15-minute overview of some things that are happening here at Waterloo. And our purpose tonight is to kind of present to you, if you're not sure what's going on here, here's some of the things that we're doing. And I stress the word some, that they're big things that we're doing in these areas. And then what we want to do is listen and answer questions that you may have, take down ideas that you may have. We had a lot of ideas that came out of the financial forums, and there have been a lot of things that we've been able to move forward and act upon from that. And our ultimate goal here is to create a 5-year plan for our district in a number of different areas. So curriculum, instruction, assessment, technology, finance, and then we have 3 other meetings that are scheduled over the next 3 months. And each of those areas will be things that we will be incorporating into this overall district plan that we want to present to the board in June. And the feedback that you give tonight is very important. That we will move forward with your feedback from our faculty, staff, students, and try to pull out main themes of where we want to be moving over the next 5 years of the district. So that's kind of our goal for the evening. So once we go through this overview, we'll just completely get into questions, answers, ideas, suggestions, that type of thing. I already mentioned, but I'll mention it again, we are attempting to video stream this and record it. So we'll see how this actually works tonight. So without any further ado, we'll get into some different things to get into this area. So to begin with, I think the place that you probably start is the thing that most people, if they're aware of stuff in this area, are aware of the state report card and our state report card rating. We were excellent with distinction this year, which is the highest rating possible in the state of Ohio, which is something that not only the school community, but the Waterloo community in general should be very proud of. There's been a lot of great things that have been happening here in this district for many years. A rating like this isn't something that happens overnight. It's the culmination of, and hopefully continuing forward to be able to hold that rating of many, many things that have happened over time. A lot of hard work from our faculty, staff, and students alike, and parents, guardians at home. So we have the highest rating. When you look at it a little further, there's 4 different factors that really go into a number of different factors, I should say, within each of these areas, the kind of 4 main areas that help comprise that. The first is indicators. There's 26 of them for this past year. The state actually reduced. There was a few others that they had cut back on prior to the end of last school year. But within those are things like the achievement testing we'll talk about in a few minutes, that type of thing. So we met as a district 25 of 26 indicators. Graduation rate, other things are included in there. Performance index, I think the max you can have is 120. 97.5 of our grade, which I believe is the highest that the district has ever been. And the way that they calculate a performance index is to take a look at where students are scoring within each test. You can score, it's limited, basic, proficient, accelerated, or advanced. And with each of those, there's different weights that carry that they multiply to come up with your performance index. Adequate yearly progress is another thing that they take a look at. That's part of the whole federal No Child Left Behind legislation. They have different categories, a number of different subgroups, like students with disabilities, economically disadvantaged, minorities. Our two biggest areas where we have subpopulations like that are the special education group and the economically disadvantaged. As a district overall, we were able to meet AYP, so we were able to stay out of improvement status as a district. And then the last thing that they've added a few years ago, which is how you can now go from excellence to excellent with distinction, is value added, where they actually look and see if each student is making progress at, below, or above what's expected in a given year. And so we were above overall as a district, which means that overall for our district, our students were advancing more than would be expected in a given year's time. So it was good news. It was good news for us on the report card. But within this, while this is the overall measure that's put out there, there's a lot of things that are happening here at Waterloo behind the scenes to make that occur. It's all kind of driven by these state academic standards, content standards. If you're not familiar with that, the state of Ohio has content standards in all subject areas for all grade levels that are supposed to guide what's taught within each grade. So there's an example here. Parents can find these nice TV standards guides for families on the OD website. You can find a very detailed document there. But all of this stuff comes back to the testing that the state does, comes back to these content standards and whether students are mastering those concepts at a given grade level. So what do we do? What do we do here with this? This district has been actively working on curriculum mapping, taking what's taught, tying it back to the standards, making sure that there's continuity within grade levels. We have multiple teachers to make sure that everything is sequenced out as far as how it's going to be taught. Make sure that the standards that have to be taught in a given year are being taught. How do we know if that stuff is happening? The district has embarked the last few years on this creation of common assessment, short-cycle common assessment, where teachers are taking what they taught, giving periodic assessments to students to see what they know, and then making decisions from there. Kind of ties into this last point, the data. There's been a movement here within the district to really make informed choices in the classroom and instruction based upon what the data is showing. And some of the other programs that we'll talk about here in a few minutes with technology and some other things that are being done are ways that teachers are able to get this data outside of the state assessment to be able to drive what the ways that they're teaching, the changes that they see, that maybe a way that they taught a concept wasn't understood by a majority of the class. When they give a common assessment, they can see that, go back, and constantly refine what they're doing based on the students. The other thing that there's been movement here with, and I say movement because we're moving in these areas. This has been happening for a while. This isn't new. But as a whole, there's always ways that we can improve. We are not experts in any of these areas. We're continuing to make progress in these and refine them for what's best for our students. So differentiation and the whole idea of taking instruction and making it relevant for each student at their level. And we have a lot of different ability ranges that are here in a given classroom. And that's, quite honestly, this is probably one of the biggest challenges for teachers to do, because you have a limited amount of time. You have standards that are defined by the state that have to be done. expectations are going to have to be met, yet you're trying to reach each child at their level and teach them what they need to be taught. And so this is something that we continue to work on, something that we continue to strive for, to achieve. And it all goes back to this: how do you know how to differentiate? How do you know where these kids are? It comes back to the data and having good data that you can make these informed decisions on. Just kind of overall here within the district, we have a number of different programs that are here. We have a very high percentage of our population that have learning disabilities, that are identified as having learning disability. We're over 16% of our student population is on some type of individualized education program. So we have a very strong special education program for those students. On the flip side, we have a program for students that have different type of needs. These students that are gifted. We have a gifted coordinator here that works with students, gives them a number of different opportunities with the different programs that she offers. At the high school level, we have post-secondary options. We have students that will go out to really, just Kent State, where we have students that go to right now. So at Kent State University, we have some students that will take the post-secondary option and leave our campus to go over there for that. We talked about this Ohio Achievement Assessment and Graduation Test. That's how they gauge state gauges, and a lot of those indicators are on there, so that the report card rating come back to this. So this is kind of the overall assessment that the state uses to gauge where we're at, but within that, there's constant instruction and assessment and refinement of what's being taught going on a daily basis within all of these classrooms. The other thing that the district has moved into is this whole idea of technology. And by technology, I put technology into tonight's topic with this curriculum instruction and assessment, because the way that we view the technology is that it's an instructional tool. Technology is not here to replace teachers. It's here to aid teachers to help differentiate that instruction to each student. And there's different ways that can be done. We have a number of probably the big three items that we have here in the district, and we are not a technology-rich district by any means. We're making strides to get there within our means. But we have these smart boards. We have about 4 or 5 of them in the district. If you've ever seen one of these Connect that shows the stuff right on the computer, people can write right on the board. They're a very interactive way to get students involved in what's happening. Especially like at the younger levels here. The younger students really like to get up and interact on those boards. You get into the older grades, the high school teachers and the students, for that matter, prefer these interwrite boards, which is the same type of an idea, but it's a smaller version and you write right on there, it projects onto the screen what's happening. A really neat thing that we have that helps teachers be able to instantly gauge what students know and are doing in the classroom are these response systems. We have a few different types of these floating throughout the district, a few different sets. I would guess we're in the middle of doing a technology inventory to make sure that we know all of the stuff that's come in over the years with different grants and other things. But I would guess that we're under 10 sets of these every year within the district. But the neat thing about these are that teachers can put questions up on the board. Students, as they walk in, use these. They're all assigned numbers, but it's not tied to the student. The teacher knows who the student is, but the students don't know who the other students are, and they can answer stuff. And a teacher can throw up a question and automatically get feedback that shows up on the screen with how many students know the concept. 95% of the students got it. They can move on and go back to the students later on that didn't. If they see by doing that 2 students in the classroom got it right, then they can stop and start to go back and do some reteaching right there, right at that moment. And so that's a really neat tool that we've been using. The other things, we have a number of computers in different labs here. In the classroom, we have, most classrooms have 2 or 3 computers that they have in there that teachers use for different means. And then there's different programs on the software side of things that we're able to use to get that feedback to help drive instruction and what needs to be taught. Read Naturally, Lexia, Accelerated Reading, those are programs used in the elementary school. EDIS is a new program that the middle school has just gotten involved with. Our middle school, one of the things that we're working on with the middle school is, Mr. Wood has been working really hard on this with his teachers, is within, I showed you the overall district report card, but within our middle school, we miss AYP for our students with learning disabilities in reading for 2 years in a row. So even though the middle school was rated excellent in distinction, which is the highest rating in the state, they're also bumped into a category called school improvement status, which requires certain things to be done. So Mr. Woodard did some research and settled on a program EDIS that's able to give feedback, like we're talking about, to the teachers, but it's also able to build a program for each student based on where their needs are that they come in with. So if an 8th grader is reading at a 2nd grade level, a teacher can use EDIS to kind of help build this supplemental lessons as a way to help differentiate, not to replace the instruction, but a way that student gets individual needs that the teacher can look at and get back why that teacher is looking at some others. So a lot of technology that the district has been using. The other thing that on the technology side with this, and I think this is becoming more and more too, we have teachers that all have a web page. They're all linked off of our district website. And when you go there, a lot of what has been done in the classroom to help parents understand what's going on in there is linked there. So that's just another way that teachers can communicate with parents and let the parents know here's what's going on, here's what you can help at home. So where are we moving forward to here? And like I said, this is very brief. Where are we moving with this stuff? The things that we're kind of working on right now. We have to do with the state of Ohio what's called an improvement process, the Ohio improvement process. So we have a group that Ohio serves as a district level team that analyzed the data of our district and created a plan that's in draft stages right now, which we will incorporate as part of this overall 5-year district plan. But that whole thing, looking at the data, gets back to some of the points we've already talked about, some of our subgroups that are missing. We set targets of how much we want to increase where they're achieving on these assessments. We're looking at things like differentiation and kind of an offshoot of that is response to intervention, which takes a look at students in kind of a tiered system with students being tested for a learning disability all the way to the top of the tier. There's a lot of things that happen intervention-wise to help students out in the classroom prior to the student ever being tested. So at our first waiver day, on the 4th of this month, we had state support 8 representatives out here that gave an overview of the RTI process and how that looks in theory to all of our faculty and staff. And then the next step that we're doing with that is taking that down to each building level and then from there into the classrooms for how we practically apply that concept here at Waterloo. We have a technology committee that's recently been formed. It's up and running with our technology directors, and there's about 10 or 12 faculty and staff that volunteer their time to be part of that. And what our purpose there is we're trying to gauge where we're at as a district with technology and where we want to be. So we've done some surveying of all of the faculty and staff here. We've taken a look, we're doing this inventory of the items that we have here in the district. We're looking at things like some of the software, for example, that we've purchased in the past for license for like Microsoft Word. We're looking to see if we can shift over to things like open source software open word where we don't have to pay for licensing to get the same type of program, so that we can reallocate some of that money to be able to purchase more hardware that can be used in the classroom for this instructional technology purposes. So we're focusing right now on gathering feedback and analyzing what that feedback is, so we can get a good picture of where we need to move as a district, include the feedback that we get on a night like tonight, and then create a plan that deals with the hardware side of things, our infrastructure, the equipment, the software side of these different programs, and then most importantly, the professional development piece that goes with it for our faculty and staff. It's great to have these things, but if no one knows how to use them and turn around and integrate them into the classroom and make them relevant, it's just a waste of time. And so we're kind of focusing on those three areas with our technology committee to form that technology plan. We're also excited because we have, at the high school level, 7 teachers that have applied to Penn State to teach 11 classes that would be considered dual credit, where students, rather than post-secondary options, if post-secondary would still be an option, but rather than the post-secondary options where they have to leave our campus and go to Penn State to take a class, if these teachers get approved through Penn State to do these classes here, they'll be able to stay here, get high school credit and college credit at the same time. And so we don't know how many of those 7 teachers for those 11 classes will be approved. Each department in Penn State is the one that approves those, so each department's a little different. We've had some teachers, we've had a teacher that's already been approved for one of his courses. We had others that are set up for interviews over there. So we're kind of working through that process right now, but we think the beauty of this is that the classes that we already have, that are these upper level classes for our students, we think that those classes that these teachers have applied for will mesh very nicely with the dual credit, so that we're not adding all kinds of additional stuff that's going to cost money. We think we can make this happen within the framework of what we already have and give a great incentive for students to take some of those upper level classes that we offer them. We also created, we had to, because of the House Bill 1, we also recently finished creating in the fall this credit flexibility plan that really opens up a wide variety of opportunities for students, especially at the high school level, mostly at the high school level, when it comes to options that they can take the classes, how they can be assessed to see that there's parts in there that allow a student, for example, to say, I think I know everything about American history given the test. And if they achieve a certain percentage on that test that's given, then they automatically get credit for the class without ever having considered it. Online learning opportunities. It's just the whole credit flexibility thing really is limitless on what that could look like. We have parameters set up based off of guidelines from the state of Ohio, but there's so many options that it really will be unique to each and every student. And the other thing that we're looking at from, I guess, a standpoint of all of this instruction and everything, is another way that we think we can help better communicate with parents and guardians, and that's this whole idea of online grades. And so we've been looking at recently some different systems that we could possibly go with to do something like the online grades. Some of them do have a cost that's associated, which may at the end be prohibitive. There's other systems that don't offer the same types of bells and whistles, but they're free systems that can be used. So we're working through that right now. But I think the belief is that that will be a great collaborative tool if we're able to figure out how to utilize that right here at Waterloo. And I just want to end with this. Tonight's not about finances, but as we sit here and think about creating a 5-year plan, as we think about the things within curriculum, instruction, assessment, and technology, we have to make sure that what we dream is realistic within our budget too. And I think we can do that. It's challenging to make it happen. But as most of you are aware, if not all of you, we're in the process right now based upon estimating that the state will reduce our funding 10% for the next biennium. And we don't know that for sure, so this could have to be revised if the state cuts 20 to 25%. But if we get reduced 10%, that was $950,000 roughly, close to $1 million that we have to cut out of our budget before next school year. So we've been actively working on this since November. And these are the different steps that we've taken so far to be able to protect our core. Because we want to be able to stay as much away as we can from having to affect what's happening in the classroom, what is happening with programming. And I think it's pretty easy to see that a teacher, when we talk about differentiated instruction, working with each of these kids at the level that they need to be, much easier to do that when you have a class of maybe 20 or 21 than it is when you have a class of 30. And we have some situations this year that we're not happy about, but with reductions that were done in the spring, we are at close to 30. And some of those are at some young levels, where especially there, the research shows that the smaller the class, the better the academic achievement for students. So we've been trying to do everything we can to reduce this deficit and get it as low as we can before we have to deal with personnel and programming in the classroom. And we continue to do that. Currently, that number stands right around $510,000. There's a lot of other things that we're actively working on to try to continue to lower that number so that when we do have to make personnel decisions, probably some point at the latest next month, we can do that knowing that we've really turned over every other thing we possibly could in this district and try to save money in those areas first so we can protect what's happening in the classroom. So as we move forward with all of this planning, we just have to keep in mind that the money is something that's going to have to be there to make this program go. I don't want to be responsible for creating a plan that once it's done, we look at it and say, no, we can't afford this. It was nice to do. Yeah, I mean, that's not our intent here. We want to be very realistic with what we're doing, be as innovative as we possibly can, give the support and tools necessary to our teachers to be successful in the classroom, but do it within the framework of what we need to do. I think that's it. So that's kind of the very, very, very brief overview of this topic. And what I'd like to do now is just turn it over for, like I said, questions on things you saw there, comments, suggestions, ideas, anything that you have that we can kind of take down and capture here tonight so that when we sit down and put this stuff together, we can start to look for themes and the different things we're hearing from community, faculty, staff, students, alike. That being said, I'll turn it over. And I will say, as I said at the other forums that we did, we'll make sure, I will stay here as long as we need to tonight to answer every last question that there is. So I'm sure that everybody's going to be jumping all over to get your question in, but please know that we will get everybody's questions in here. And if you need to leave at any point, don't feel bad about that. I appreciate you coming tonight and hope you can stay as long as you can, but if you need to leave, just help me out. That being said, turn it over. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it seems like you have a good relationship with Tech State, of course, being in the same county. But there's so many other educational institutions around here. Are we forming relationships with them as well in working with their faculty or their administration in any way possible that they can come in and help, or we can combine services, or just use them a lot more? Or do we have someone to help research that or make those connections?
It's a very good question. before I answer that, I think the short answer to your question is we probably have not done a good job of it, quite honestly. But what I don't know is, at the high school level, next, do we have some relationship with other places? Do we do anything to dual credit, or not dual credit, but the post-secondary accounting or anywhere else?
No, we've always, last week was always.
Well, I can answer that question. My name is Tim Norfolk. I'm the chair of mathematics at Akron U. And we'd be more than happy to help any way we can with these kind of things. Especially if the students want to go to science and engineering. That's what we do.
I know you left some contact information, so we can contact you. There was, you know, it goes through the last financial one, there was a comment made about another lady at the University of Akron as far as about some online learning type stuff goes. So we have been following up with her. I've been playing incredibly long, month and a half on being on the phone. We can believe that, but we are trying to catch up on that. But I think all in all, we can do a better job on the partnership.
I might be able to help with that as well. I'll be working starting next week in a position with the University of Akron, Stark State, and Moraine in an innovation alliance where one of the things we want to do is develop these partnerships, and especially colleges and universities really want students from rural areas for their diversity. So I don't know, I'll be keeping this in mind, maybe you and I could meet and talk about what kind of relationships we can form. Because part of it is to better equip the emerging workforce to the needs of this community. And certainly, we have areas of excellence, the innovation corridor in Akron. Maybe we can capitalize on that as far as for biomedicine, bioengineering, STEM programs that they're just going to be booming, hopefully, especially in the Akron campus area. So maybe we can take advantage of that.
And I just want to be clear, listening to him and what they're offering, maybe some of this technological material that we would need to apply to these programs could be borrowed and loaned or whatever, rather than the school district have to study.
We've been trying to, actually got a lead on a couple of videos, some technology equipment, so we've been following up on that. And we also get some stuff from NASA, I believe, where we get a number of the computers and we get it. So we do have some things going on, I think, but again, it's something we should do.
And school community grants, you know, to get some of this supply.
We've got a little grant here and there, like Mr. Hamilton's response system, is that right? So we've had some little things, we haven't, yeah. We have been, I don't know that I'm 100% knowledgeable on the past history to answer that question accurately, but I would say that what probably has been done in this district, writing lines has been more on a small scale classroom basis than a large scale district basis. This whole idea of a grant writing is something that's come up a number of times since I started over the summer when we had different people in the talk, and then it's been at both of the forums on finances. So I have had some different people in. You know, there's all kinds of different ways to do something like this. We have some that have experience that are willing to help us out, through life. There's others that will pay an upfront fee to do an assessment of the district, and there's funding all kinds of grant opportunities, and are willing to write them for you if you find them. There's others that contacted us. They actually work with finding sponsors. So if you're writing a science drawing, they'll find like one scientific to sponsor you to write it, your grant will take care of it. And then in turn, if you get it, like 20% of the grant supply has to be bought from one scientific. But I think the conclusion that I've come to is just that we need to do more grant writing at the district level as a whole. And it's probably a combination of all those different things. There may be times where we want somebody with better grant experience to come in and help us and pay a little money out because of their experience with that. There's probably a lot of other times where we can actually do stuff on our own. But I will write it down. Thank you. With other,
With your dual credit classes, are they only offered to just junior and senior? They know when they schedule.
so the question is, dual credit, will they be offered to just juniors and seniors and then they schedule? Will they know which ones those will be? So we're in the fifth of the time. We're in a process here. We applied at the beginning of December, right? And we're still waiting on this stuff. So we're kind of, we're happy to be working with Penn State, but we're at mercy on their timelines. And we pushed our scheduling back. Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Hooley have pushed it back as far as we think they can to get this stuff done. So we probably will not have all of those identified. What we will be able to do is if they come through afterwards, because as I shared that we think they mesh with the classes that we already have, we'll be able to go back after the fact and give the students that have enrolled in those classes the option to take them as a credit once we find out if they're
They
approved or
would not
not.
have to make those chances to do that.
If they haven't signed up, we'll
They
give them the
not
opportunity.
They decide to take that one step and have that opportunity, how would we know? I'm kind of curious about that and the flexibility that you talked about, because I know I'm relying on my oldest to share with me, because that's what always happens. I know nothing about any online classes they can do or the flexibility. I mean, how do we know what classes have that type of flexibility?
Credit flexibility is something that put together. We'll have our, it's going to be, there'll be a blurb about it in the course offering. So
Or is this new?
it's new. It's not,
The credit flexibility is, the basis of that from the state of Ohio is it's really up to the student. If the student decides they want to opt out of the class because they want to take a test, like Dr. Hill said, or do a portfolio, it would be an art, or take a dance class, if it would be that, they have the option. Now they have to go through a process like that.
I know what it is. I just didn't know that was there. I thought it was in place.
No, it wasn't in place now.
Okay.
now, there's a question that I've given you, you have what their ages for juniors and seniors.
Yeah, the
I believe they are.
friends should
Yeah.
be just even the flexibility.
And they have to have a certain grade point average and a certain ACT to be able to be in the class. Right.
So there's the details on the credit flex. There'll be a blurb on what credit flexibility is in the courses what you got. But there'll be the details, a very detailed, and it is a very detailed plan. It is, 8 or 9 pages, the whole thing. That will actually be able, you'll be able to see off of the website.
Kind of sort of clarifying, preambling that.
Go ahead.
That you're saying that the dual credit class maybe in place within the next year?
We believe that we will hopefully have some in place for the fall. We've been approved for one, I think it was the music theory class. We have teachers in English, music, science, math, and foreign language that have applied to Penn State to teach these classes. And so we're hoping, it's not a given that everybody's automatically approved. So we're still waiting to get word back, but we're hoping we'll have a number of courses available for the students.
And this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. Too. Talking about acting youth, we talked about a variety then we work on our different teachers and much involved in it. And basically, the three of us have been working on that. We talked about Stark State, possibly, working with them to see if they're, Mount Union, we talked a little bit about them, but they have so many now, they don't even want to be involved in it. They're just kind of too much. So, Kent State was something they were interested. They came to us, we met with Dr. Donovan, the person who's in charge of the whole program there, and it looked pretty good. So we decided we were going to do that. We asked some of the teachers at the staff meeting if they were interested in doing that, and they said they were. Now we're kind of at the whim of Kent State. We've been waiting, and we have to get the course description guideline out. But we do have a thing about dual credit classes. And as Dr. Bill said, like if we have honors, English 11 honors English, that class that Sandy Adams teaches in honors 11, that dual credit class could be, in place for that class. Okay, so that's kind of the way we're thinking. But of course, we don't know until State says we can't go around.
It won't, if we do get approved after the fact, there won't be any classes that are added to the course description guidelines that they've done. So all those classes will be there, it'll just be a matter of identifying which ones are offered as dual credit.
As far as, and this is for 11th grade and 12th grade, as far as honors English, for instance, in 9th and 10th grade, what's the percentage? I have a 10th grader now, I have an 8th grader going into 9th grade, who's in school, and this is the next son of that. I would love to see him do a 9A class, but there's no incentive to do that. He doesn't get any more credit than anyone taking this 9, English 9, and yet there's no chapter lessons. If he's an A, it's an A. If he's an E, that's, that brings the grade standard down. What is?
I don't know that there's
there?
I don't know that there's an answer that I could give you of what it would be other than concerning motivation and the fact that it would take what we do in the second step up to the doctors of the being in the credit type classes. I will tell you this. We've been having this discussion recently at the department chair level. And we've been trying to figure out a way that maybe we could do something where there could be an incentive, but it would keep everybody on a level playing field. See, the problem is if you go to a traditional weighted rate select, for example, and now students would take more challenging classes on like a 5 instead of a 4. Yeah, there's a lot of people that believe that whether a student in challenging classes, the classes that are not, they're not considered as challenging, or the maple rate doing the thing, if they're pushing themselves to their limit, everybody's got a different ability level. And so when you create a system like that, now you're saying this is more important than this person's trying harder than this person, and that may not necessarily be the case based off of ability level. So that's the argument for doing something like that. We did, Mr. Julio did survey the students a couple weeks ago. 75% of high school students said that if there was some type of incentive, they would think more strongly about signing up for these type of what are perceived as type of classes. So we've been trying to look and see what we can do, and if there's ways that keeping everybody on a 4.0, add some type of incentive, but we've yet to find it, because everything that we come up with somehow takes one of these 3 groups out of the equation for keeping it. So we're looking inside. My response would just be, they push themselves into those most challenging courses that opens up more courses that they can take here, like Waterloo or post-secondary options that will challenge them more, which is going to better prepare them for things like ACT, FSC, college. That would be my response.
That's exactly what Mr. Smith, when he talks to the students, that, one of the things they ask, how do you prepare for the ACT? Do you take the most challenging courses that you can take? If you take those courses, you're automatically going to be better. on those test scores. And that's the big thing for college sports. They look at, they look at grade books, they look at ACT. So I would say the answer, my answer to that would be pick the most challenging courses you can because you're more prepared for college, but then also you're more prepared for those tests. Also. We're working through the weighted system, continually working on that. But
We just haven't found the solution.
right.
Does this show up on your transcript or has the transcript that this was, an event class where, does it show up differently than?
No.
Because my thought is if we give, when you have children applying to colleges and universities, they can look at that transcript and see, well, this child, putting more, challenging classes, and it was their choice. That in itself, grade was also the choice. So if they made a B in it, maybe they could have made an A in it, or even, thinking, well, maybe the choice is a challenge.
We're remaining,
Right,
But-
the AP classes.
we, right now, classes like English, it's the advanced one, it's called A.
Right.
So
We are
we are limiting
we
those
have
on.
changed that position. It is going to be called honors, not computer.
And will that show up on the transcript of the English?
Because anything that's on your transcript is positive for you.
Right.
It's going to help you to get into university and that in itself will mean something.
I hate to get technical about that point, but don't we even at graduation honor those that have supposed to know, other than, yeah, we took honors, it was pretty happy.
And that's the reason that, going back to what I talked about a minute ago, when you to do a system like that, you would be taking away the ability of some people to never be able to get that on. And that's really what that comes down to. We're talking about valedictorian, salutatorian, and that's the whole argument side of both sides of this little issue. While waivers may cause students to register and take more charges in classes, it doesn't give every student, regardless of their ability, the opportunity to be valedictorian or salutatorian. And that's where the other side of the argument comes in. So there's been a lot of good, healthy discussion amongst the departments and actually, the principals and the building government, some, and I believe that that's not a new discussion, because it's good to be news to me, because I'm new here, but I don't think that this is the first time that this type of discussion has come up. So, there's definitely people that feel pretty strongly about the points that you're making about that, and that's something that I think we continue to work through as a school community.
Is there a formal designation or can a school be classified as a STEM school?
I don't know.
Because that's what the emphasis is now.
Feel free to get
other thoughts? Yes.
I just have a question. With the changing of the economic campaign and the new national events that they're going to be coming out with, has anybody, like your curriculum director, looked into that transitional period? Because it's pretty scary. I think so.
I can answer that. I mean, actually, I've been pre-trained already on pre-14ers.
Yeah.
And, we'll be doing it for the
Yeah, so did I.
Yes, and your piece is very tight.
Yeah, I saw it. But we don't have time.
Yeah, we don't have time or this or that, so that's really.
Okay, and I know you don't, I know you guys don't, that's why I asked, because we do, and it's still quite a transition, and it's a major, it's just a completely, our test now, because their test is after one.
I think it's really that. It's so much harder to take the risk because now it's so.
It is, but we only many.
I think they have to measure
Right,
out.
yes, and these are specific.
Right.
Right. Okay, so that's, yeah.
Yes, so that's.
So you are.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns, things you think we should be focusing on in the district that you think?
Yes. What, I mean, what is the goal? What are we trying to do? What are we educating? I've been doing it 33 years. I mean, especially during, I haven't done K through 12, not mathematics, I know. But, is the object to get as many kids as you can to go and be successful in higher ed? Are we training to get a job? What are we trying to do?
And I think that question never really. They need to be pushing themselves in those areas. And so I think that is a little bit different for each kid. But the overall answer is you push them to be what you can. And I think a lot of these things is just for the flexibility and stuff is being designed on that whole premise, which is, each of these kids should be kind of creating what it is that they need to do and not spending time on stuff they already know. All of those things. So that'd be my drive for the school.
I mean, I'm sorry to do so much talking, keep everything in, but I did have a question with first flexibility. I know that there are certain parts, including my own, that are resisting doing that with local schools because we lose a little bit of control. You have no, depending on the specifics of the agreement, you have no control over what kind of grade is related to the way you do it. And that is, well, for a lot of the students we get in post-secondary, the way in which we grade is quite surprising. They're coming in with 4.0s. I had a student accuse me of stopping them from being valedictorian, which she chose to take a college level calculus. Well, she wasn't up to the A level of the rest of the students. They don't treat the post-secondary student any different. So, I mean, if you've got that going on, then there is something, if you're going to send more students to college who think that they can offer college level course, and they're into it correctly for college.
You're talking about the school stuff?
Yeah, with the one
The
where
one
you have
where we-
a
where
fourth
they-
year and they give you college credit.
Sure. Yeah, I'm, from what I understood, that whole process, when these teachers apply, they have to send over their resumes and all this other stuff. But if we do get approved to teach those as a teacher guide, they have to follow the syllabus or the teach the professor of the university has to approve the syllabus to make sure it's following the, to be there so they try to put some control in there. At the end of the day, you're right, the professor at the university is not giving it grades. But I think the trust is that the teachers following what the syllabus and everything else is.
But the, just to point out, sort of the obvious, high school teachers are under a great deal more pressure than professors. Because there is a very peculiar, I'm not from this country, right? I am now, I've been here 33 years, but in other countries, the failure of a student is not blamed on the teacher. In this country, it is, which puts incredible pressure on teachers to pass students who probably shouldn't. And that's what concerns me. As I said, you give somebody, hypothetically, you give somebody credit for the first semester of a foreign language. I was doing share that time. What happens if they haven't really learned that stuff? So they go around. They walk into a college classroom, and you have a student who probably has a good chance of success, who gets slammed their first semester and drops out. And that all, it costs a bunch of money. College is expensive. So it's those kind of things that really worry me. Absolutely.
And I'm just, as a parent, I can tell my child that, but it's just, it's not looking at that as a whole, and I'm not saying our school system, I'm saying anybody, I mean, I don't think the design, valedictory, solicitor, I mean, that's what the kids are pushing themselves for, or, I mean, that's what I've heard since middle school. Well, if I take algebra in 8th grade, and I don't do well, that's a high school credit, you know.
But I think we put that pressure on in a society where the reality of it is, especially nowadays, where the economy is so tough, as you said, you know, the job selection out there is so different now. That people in certain areas feel they're trying to job right away. We have to push our kids to take this class, and it shouldn't be on the third grade anymore.
And then
It
you
should be
know,
on
that-
national subject, it's very tough.
Right, I mean, can the school pick up on the other end, that's, like, I can come home and tell Jared Sean, but that's not what we're doing. And,
We think we need to spend more time emphasizing those types of things.
yeah, letting the kids know, this is what you're gonna be, this is what's gonna be beneficial later on. Yeah, high school's really important right now, but.
It sounds like Mr. Schmidt does it, but maybe there's more, maybe there's
We-
more ways that we
we-
can, maybe there's more ways that we can try to bring that message. I mean, that quite honestly is kind of a culture changing philosophy.
Actually,
And
I'm sorry, the
want to go over to
Like, a couple, I've been over here 3 times for that international day in the schools at the first grade. And I was stationed over in Germany while I was in the service. Did a little research on their education. I was gonna ask, what country was you listening?
I was raised in New England, I was educated in
Okay.
Germany as well.
I was
My big, where we can do.
in Stuttgart, but what I found out over there, but it's by the time these kids are in the 8th grade, they've already singled these kids out in different categories. You put 80 kids in the classroom, these kids are not all college mature. So what they do, they single, and you probably saw this, where they single the kids out for the college courses, then you have the kids for like university programs.